I will never understand the hype behind characters like Shigaragi and Dabi from My Hero Academia. Neither of those two is really all that great at being an interesting or a compelling villain, but I can think of another V word that works just a tiny bit better for those two. If you're caught up on the manga, then you're gonna love this. Wait, what's that, Ghost? Not to... Oh, snap. What's up, homies? I'm _Ghost, and today we're going to cover character arcs, a critical staple for any story that wishes to claim itself as such. Like usual, we're going to start with the thumbnail and save the surprises for later. A character arc needs specific ingredients to be executed expertly. 1. The character in question must be established solidly through some form of characterization. 2. That character needs to be challenged through some sort of trial. This will be the plot of the story or one of the plots if there are multiple. 3. Their characterization has to be changed in some way prior to the trial to signify that an arc has been executed. A character that has not changed following the conclusion of any plot has been failed by their writer. As the thumbnail promised, Lucy Heartfilia from Fairy Tail will be our prime example today. She's introduced as a young adventure seeker with a bratty attitude, less gullible than other girls her age, and has a strained relationship with the mermaid her mother left in her care. Her characterization and some plot threads are introduced for her from the jump. As the series continues and we get more of her backstory, the cruelty she faced from her father made her into something of a crybaby when overly stressed. In the Phantom Lord arc, Lucy's tears from that time return when the Fairy Tail Guild is targeted because of her father's interference. She's back to being that little girl once again. Once the arc concludes, Lucy commits to confronting her father as a fully realized wizard of Fairy Tail, telling him she will not suffer him any longer and affirms she will fight him alongside Fairy Tail should he ever attack them again. She leaves with tears, but she cries out of happiness, a new meaning for her tears. She's gone through an entire crucible alongside the guild that up until that point she's only felt like a general member of. Afterwards, she's told and accepts that Fairy Tail is not her true family. The adventure she set out on has finally bare fruit. One of the other arcs Lucy goes through throughout the series as a whole is tied to the 12 celestial spirit keys that summon celestial spirits to fight with her. The mermaid I mentioned before is the celestial spirit Aquarius, one of the 3 spirits her mother held contracts with. In the early parts of the series, most arcs end with Lucy acquiring more and more celestial spirit keys, including the other 2 that her mother owned. Just like with Fairy Tail, the spirits are her family. Each one she finds becomes an instant addition to the family as she holds those bonds sacred. In one of Fairy Tail's best arcs, the Grand Magic Games, Lucy comes face to face with another celestial spirit keyholder, Yukino. The final 2 keys are in her possession. During the Grand Magic Games, Yukino feels like she doesn't deserve to be a wizard and offers to give her 2 keys to Lucy. Lucy refuses her offer, admitting that at one point she would have loved to have them all, but she's seen that Yukino cares for her spirits and doesn't wish to break those bonds for more power. In just one scene, Lucy's growth through the whole series is executed subtly and expertly. Until that moment she refused, I believe she would accept them. But when I look back on how she gained every other spirit, it happened because of her love and respect for them as more than tools. I didn't expect the growth because I was too attached to the pattern, but Hiro Mashima, the author of Fairy Tail, snuck in a welcome surprise that only improved upon an already great character. And Lucy relied on no spirit more than she did her very first, Aquarius. Despite the 2 having a comically toxic relationship, they had a true bond. In my number 1 arc in the entire series, Tartarus, Lucy has a terrible choice to make. She cannot save her petrified guild mates without summoning the Celestial Spirit King, but to do so requires her to break a contract with one of her current spirits by breaking their key. To save the family she gained since the start of the story, she has to sacrifice a member of her family she's had since childhood, as Aquarius volunteers for the sacrifice. Lucy breaks down in tears as she does what she needs to do to save Fairy Tail. We saw from the Grand Magic Games how much Lucy treasured her spirits, so to see her sacrifice one for any reason was tragic and beautiful at the same time. Lucy Heartfilia solidified herself as my favorite character in the Tartarus arc. I've never seen a main shonen female lead perform or be given such care and attention by a mangaka as her. You can try in the comments, but tell me another long-running shonen anime female lead that's ever come in as clutch or to be written as dynamically as Lucy. If you convince me, I'll give you your brownie points. Lucy's character arc scores high on all points. We get solid characterization for her in episode 1, and it builds to her first real trial when her father pays the Phantom Lord Guild to attack Fairy Tail. She finally properly confronts her father about her dreams to be a mage and claims Fairy Tail as her family. Her second trial, choosing between Aquarius and Fairy Tail, was no easy choice to make. She was aware Aquarius wouldn't die because of the sacrifice, but their contract and friendship would be forfeit. Even though she chooses Fairy Tail once again, this sacrifice hurts her to her soul, and it does a number on her when the guild is disbanded shortly after. Lucy becomes more sensitive to losing friends and family, and right after losing Aquarius, Fairy Tail disbands and her best friend Natsu, who invited her into the guild, leaves her on her own for a year. In that year, she tried desperately to keep tabs on the guild members in an effort to maybe bring Fairy Tail back, only to succeed with Natsu's help once he returned. Once everyone is back, the pain she held in for the year they spent apart abates, and she completes her turbulent arc there. She has one more arc in the final arc, Alvarez, but I think I've whet your appetite enough. Go and read Fairy Tail. Oh, and don't forget to read 4 Arts Academy too. But that's all I have for today's video. Stay tuned for more content to come. The upload schedule for the channel is Friday to Friday. If a video is not uploaded one Friday, it will be up on the following Friday, always at 5 p.m. EST. Thank you for checking out the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and read the story. Later, homies.